Today we're going to talk about something called multisyllabic words. That sounds like a super duper fancy word there, multisyllabic. But what multisyllabic means is words with many syllables. Because when you're reading, a lot of times you're going to come across words that don't just have one syllable type, like a closed syllable, but they have a couple of syllables in them and there's lots of letters. Sometimes those words can feel really overwhelming because they look so big. So today we're going to start learning how to read those words more easily, how to identify words that have more than one syllable, and hopefully this will make reading even more enjoyable for you. So let's review our three syllable types that we have learned so far. We learned about closed syllables. These are the syllables that have one vowel with at least one consonant closing the vowel in at the end, and it causes the vowel to make its short sound. We learned about open syllables. These are syllables that have one vowel, no consonant closing it in on the end, and the vowel makes its long sound. And then we also learned about silent E syllables. These words have an E at the end, one vowel, a consonant between them, at least one consonant, and the vowel makes its long sound because the E is silent. It gives up its sound to help that vowel make its long sound. So now let's look at some words that have more than one syllable in them. Okay. I pulled down some sound tiles to make this very long word. Now, one strategy that we've learned in reading is if you see a really long word, check to see if it has a suffix at the end. And here's the suffixes that we have learned so far. Now, when I look at this word, there is no suffix at the end. So I can't just cover up the suffix and try to read the base because this is just a super long word with a lot of different letters in it. It doesn't even have any digraphs in it because, digraphs are the one sound tile. Instead, it has this many sounds in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of sounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this word and I'm going to show you how we can break it apart into syllables because this is a multisyllabic word. So here are the sound tiles again. But what I've done is I've found a way to separate them into two syllables. So we have this first part, which you probably have already read at this point. This first part says k, at, cat. And now the second part that has that second syllable says ip, nip. So we have cat, nip. Now, the way that it was easy to kind of separate these is because I looked at where the vowels were. Every syllable has at least one vowel. So that is really important to remember. When the vowels are separated by a bunch of letters, you want to see, or most likely, those vowels are not part of the same syllable. So in this case, I knew, okay, these vowels are pretty far away from each other. I'm going to break this word apart into these two smaller parts, and I get my two syllables, cat and nip. So now let's look at these syllables actually. While we're doing this, let's try to mark this up. When I'm marking up a multisyllabic word, I'm going to grab a pen so I can show you how I do that. What I do, it's already on blue. Okay. What I do is I find where my two syllables are. And I separated these two for you already. And then I'm going to scoop each syllable, okay? So I'm going to scoop here for the first syllable, which is cat. Then I'm going to do another scoop for the second syllable, which is nip. Now what I have to figure out is what type of syllables are these? So let's look at this first one, cat. So we're just focusing on these three letters right now. This first syllable has one vowel in it. It ends with a consonant, and when I listen to the vowel sound, it says at, cat. This is a classic closed syllable. because the vowel is closed in by a consonant on the end here. Even though this isn't the end of the word, it's the end of the syllable. So I'm going to put that little smiley face brev over the top of that letter A because it's making its short sound. So now that I've finished with my first syllable, I'm going to look at my second syllable. My second syllable has one vowel. That vowel is closed in by a consonant on the end. And what sound is that vowel making? Ip, nip. It's making its short sound. Guess what? We have another closed syllable. So what was really important that I did was that I separated these two syllables and I marked them both up. They both just happen to be closed syllables, but that's not always the case. So that's why I didn't just scoop the entire word, because I have to scoop only the syllables. Let's check out another one. Okay, I pulled down some sound tiles for us. Look at how many letters are in this word. How crazy is this? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It does not end in a suffix. It's just a super long word. So I have 3 vowels here, but you might notice something about one of the vowels. Do you see this vowel? That's sneaky E, and that is at the end of the word. And you know that when sneaky E is at the end of a syllable, it usually doesn't make any sound. So let's check this out. What I did again was I looked at the consonants in between these vowels in the middle, and I thought, I think these are separating here because we have PT, which is not a consonant blend. So it's not going to be rept, it's reptile. So I pulled it down for you. Look in the syllable cards here. We have R-E-P, I put on one side, and then T-I-L-E go together because that E is silent. Let's mark up these syllable types. First, I'm going to scoop each syllable. That's the first one. And then this is the second one. Now I'm going to just look at the first one, R-E-P. I bet that you are already thinking that you know what kind of syllable this is. But let's ask ourselves the question, does it have only one vowel? Yes. Does it end in a consonant, at least one consonant? Yes, it does. Does the vowel make a short sound? Well, let's see. Eh. It does. I'm going to put a brev over the top. This is a classic closed syllable. Now, I need to look at the other syllable. And I bet that you're looking at this syllable and you're probably noticing that this is not a closed syllable. And it's not, because a lot of times in words, you will have more than one syllable type. So let's investigate. Does this word have only one vowel? No, this word has 2 vowels, this syllable, has 2 vowels. The vowels are separated by a consonant, and there's an E on the end. Does this look like it might be a V-E syllable? Vowel, consonant, E. This is a V-E syllable. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to cross off the E because it doesn't make a sound. I'm going to write V, which stands for vowel, dash, which stands for the consonant in the between the vowel and the E, and then E, which stands for the silent E. So this syllable is a V-E. What sound is the I making then? The E is going to help the I make its long sound, which is I. Tile, tile. I'm going to put a macron over the top of the I to show that the I is making its long sound. So we have a word. It's one word. This word has 2 syllables in it, and those syllables are not the same kind of syllable. They're different. This is why we always scoop the syllables individually and then mark them up one at a time. I hope that this helps you when you're reading today. I hope that you can find some words that have multi-syllables in them and see if you can try to identify some of those syllable types that you're seeing. I would love to hear about it.